Hello and welcome to the first episode of The Fixture by WICC. I'm your host, Meg Linehan. I'm a staff writer at The Athletic, covering the National Women's Soccer League, the U.S. Women's National Team, and even more from the world of women's soccer. And I'm super excited to partner with the folks behind the Women's International Champions Cup to bring you this brand new show. We've got a lot on deck for you today in this first episode, thanks to the NWSL Challenge Cup happening in Utah right now. I'll break down the quarterfinals, preview the semifinals, I'll bring you my WICC Best XI of the NWSL Challenge Cup, and then we'll take a quick spin around Europe to catch up with all the teams getting back to action over there. So we're through the NWSL Challenge Cup quarterfinals, and somehow throughout 4 games we only got 1 goal during the run of play. But that also means we had plenty of outstanding performances from the goalkeepers in the league. The Thorns came through with a pretty major upset of the North Carolina Courage, who had won all 4 matches of the preliminary round. Rookie Morgan Weaver came through with the game-winning goal for Portland, but we also got a massive performance out of goalkeeper Britt Eckerstrom, even though it was her first match of the entire NWSL Challenge Cup. She had 8 saves on the day. Then we got 3 straight games of scoreless draws, decided by penalty shootouts, which is pretty wild considering before this we had only ever seen penalties decide 1 NWSL playoff game in the league's entire history. The Houston Dash advanced over Utah Royals FC 3-2 in the shootout, with goalkeeper Jane Campbell honoring her rep as one of the best penalty kick stoppers in the league and coming up with 2 saves in the shootout. England international Rachel Daly provided the winning penalty kick for the Dash. On Saturday, more of the same and another big upset in the bracket as Sky Blue FC, the number 7 seed, ousted the Washington Spirit 4-3 in penalties. Elizabeth Eddy made the winning shot for Sky Blue, and the team also got a huge performance from goalkeeper Kaylin Sheridan, who had a couple monster stops during the game itself. She earned the win with a save on Bailey Feist to send Sky Blue moving on. Finally, even more penalty kicks, and this time it was Alyssa Nair leading the way for the Chicago Red Stars. 2 OL Reign players missed their penalty attempts, and the Red Stars added 1 more upset in the quarterfinals, having finished 6th in the standings for the preliminary round. To the North Carolina Courage, Utah Royals, Washington Spirit, and OL Reign, we salute you. But we have 4 teams heading on to the next round, so let's see what they've got and who will end up in the final match. So let's dig into these semifinals. Both games will be on CBS All Access for folks tuning in from the United States and Canada, and Twitch for everyone else around the world. Both games are on Wednesday. The tournament also heads to Rio Tinto Stadium in Sandy, Utah, which also means that these 2 games and the final will be played on grass, which is definitely a welcome addition in this tournament. So first up, we have Portland Thorns FC versus Houston Dash in the early game at 12:30 Eastern. Portland will be looking for another big contribution from goalkeeper Britt Eckerstrom, and with Bella Bixby out for the tournament for the rest of the games, that also means that they'll have Nadine Angerer, legendary goalkeeper from the German national team and FIFA World Player of the Year in 2013, actually on the bench as a substitute, even though she's their goalkeeper coach. Despite finishing last in the preliminary round, this is still the Portland Thorns that we're talking about here, and they've still got all-time leading international goal scorer Christine Sinclair playing for them. While she's still waiting on a goal this tournament, her fitness looks solid, and Wednesday might finally be her chance to shine. Houston, on the other hand, needs to get back to their goal-scoring ways. From early in the tournament, when Rachel Daly and Shea Groom looked completely unstoppable, they'll also have some questions on the back line, with center back Megan Oyster suffering a broken rib during the quarterfinal. But if they can press Portland high, they might get rewarded with some goals. Then Sky Blue will take on the Chicago Red Stars at 10 p.m. Eastern. The Sky Blue midfield has been one of the most cohesive of the tournament, with Sarah Waldmo, McCall Zerboni, and Jennifer Cujo building chemistry throughout the 5 games so far. Definitely keep an eye on who ends up starting for Sky Blue as outside backs. Midge Purse has seen some time on the right, and Imani Dorsey's back in on the left, but Sabrina Flores has been a real bright spot for the team during the Challenge Cup as well. The Red Stars nearly got the breakthrough from Kealia Watt in the quarterfinals with this amazing run through the box that she ended up sending wide. If she can keep up that level of sauce but actually get the shot on frame, they might find that offensive contribution that they've been looking for this entire tournament. And as always, you're going to want to watch Julie Ertz, especially battling against Sky Blues midfielder McCall Zerboni down the middle. Fingers crossed for some goals, finally, and maybe some more of that upset magic that we got in the quarterfinals. So we're through the quarterfinals and down to the final 4 teams in the NWSL Challenge Cup with only 3 games to go. So let's dig into the WICC Best XI of the NWSL Challenge Cup. Now, this might not be my final vote for League Awards, but every team has played 5 games, and I think it's time to pick the best. So let's start with the toughest one, the goalkeeper. Now, 4 incredible performances in the quarterfinals to choose from, plus Bella Bixby was a standout for the Thorns through the preliminary round. But right now, I'm going to give the edge to Kaitlyn Sheridan of Sky Blue FC, leading the tournament with 3 clean sheets and tied for second with 14 saves. Next, let's go to the defenders. I'm going to start with Julie Ertz. Now, she might sneak into the midfield. Really, you might see her anywhere on the field, but she's been solid for the Red Stars as a center back all tournament, and plus, she converted probably one of the best penalty kicks of the quarterfinals, at least in my book. The Spirit might be knocked out, but Paige Nielsen did a lot of work for them as a center back. She ended the tournament with 14 clearances, 12 interceptions, and 5 blocks, plus a passing accuracy of 87%. For the outside backs, I've got Steph Cox of OL Reign out on the left wing, and Sarah Gordon of the Chicago Red Stars out on the right. Now, Steph Cox retired in 2015, then came back to the NWSL in 2019, and by now she played 4 out of the 5 games in the Challenge Cup and added 8 key passes for her team. Sarah Gordon definitely helped cover the Red Stars back line as Casey Short and Julie Ertz pushed forward. Plus, I just want to point out the amazing work she did to raise money for charity in Chicago, a mental health initiative back home from her home city. Now, in the midfield, I've got 3 extremely clutch players for their respective teams. First up, Lindsay Horan of Portland Thorns FC, who was really trying to do it all for Portland through the preliminary round, but she had to leave the quarterfinals in the second half due to injury, so hopefully we'll still see her in the semifinals. Next, Veronica Vachetta of Utah Royals FC, who had some of the sweetest passing of the tournament, plus a beautiful free kick goal against the Houston Dash in the preliminary round. Now finally, Dabinia for the North Carolina Courage, who picked up her form from the 2019 NWSL Championship, in which she was named MVP of the game. Dabinia's well on her way to becoming a rock star of the NWSL. All right, forwards. Now I'm gonna go to the Houston Dash to start with. Shea Groom, who scored some absolute bangers in the preliminary round, including one of the most decisive headers I've ever seen against OL Reign. And while her teammate Rachel Daly could probably be on this list, I'm going to spread the love around a little bit and go with one of the potential upcoming stars of the NWSL, the Washington Spirit's Ashlee Sanchez. Her back heel flick assist to Sam Staub for a goal against Portland has to be one of the best highlights of the tournament. And of course, we have to end this list with the one and only Lynn Williams, the tournament's top scorer and incredible attacking threat. Now, she scored 3 goals, added an assist, and she's really the leader of the team's high press. So let's shift across the Atlantic and check in with what's happening in Europe. Teams have been returning to training, but notably Real Madrid has had their first ever training session as a new team on July 14th and revealed their roster this month as well. Now, it's a team with some major signings, including Spanish talent, a couple of notable Swedish players in Sofia Jakobsen and Kosovaria Aslani, plus a name NWSL fans will recognize, Chioma Abogagu, who last played for the Orlando Pride here in the States. There's definitely been some player movement, plenty of Australians, for instance, signing across Europe. But one news item that also caught Americans' eyes after some transfer rumors surrounding the Utah Royals and the NWSL. Both Sarah Buhadi and Jennifer Marozan signed contract extensions with Lyon recently. Buhadi is now with the French powerhouse and winner of the 2019 Women's ICC tournament until June 30th, 2024, and Marozan's extended through June 30th, 2023. And the schedule for the UEFA Women's Champions League finals has been set for late August, but we'll have plenty more on that once we've wrapped up the Challenge Cup here in the United States. All right, so that's our first episode. Now, if you want even more women's soccer content, make sure you follow The Conference Call. It's another brand new show from the folks at the ICC and La Liga North America, hosted by NWSL players Ali Long and Veronica Vachetta. They'll have interviews from top players from around the world, including Deia Castellanos of Atletico Madrid and Midge Purse of Sky Blue FC this week, actually. Make sure you're following along for all the latest from the NWSL Challenge Cup and from around the world. You can find me at It's Meg Linehan on Twitter, and definitely make sure you're following at ICC Women to stay up to date.